What's going on, my peoples? What's going on? It's your man Chris B, aka Buzz, back again with another video or two to share. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that's very, very, very popular on YouTube and social media in general. The topic of interracial dating. And as always, I like to explore both sides of the issue, you know what I'm saying? But today specifically, I was talking to Black men in particular of why do you choose to date interracially? You know, first of all, I'm not judging, you know what I'm saying? Do you, my dudes, do you out there, my people in general, you love who you love, you know what I'm saying? People can't help who they love, you know? I do believe that, you know? Me personally, I've never had that type of a relationship with a white woman that, as you could consider it, that we was dating. Now I'm terrible, y'all. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. You know, Ben was a fair share of white women. You know, of all women. But that's either here nor there. But you know, I've never had that type of relationship with a white woman. So you know, me personally, I wouldn't know what that was like. But I know plenty of people that date that way and swing that way, and they seem pretty happy, you know. But I know brothers on the pro-black side that are definitely, they don't date white women, you know, and they love their Black women, and I do too. I do as well. You know, I love my sisters. But like I said before, I don't knock nobody for who you love. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. You know, if you happen to fall in love with a white woman and she does it for you, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? In my eyes, as long as y'all building together, as long as she for you. One of my homies, you know what I'm saying, excuse me, he was telling me, you know, like who like you. And that's true in a lot of aspects, you know. Sometimes we gotta like who likes us. I think sometimes especially with Black men, if you're not if you didn't have access to a lot of women while you was younger, and you know, most of the time, especially later on in life, if you get successful, you get some money, then you start trying to deal with the women that you've always fantasized about being with. You know, I see that a lot. And then you fall victim or get to simping and get taken advantage of by them women that really wouldn't have nothing to do with you if you didn't have some money. You know, me, unfortunately, you know, I didn't have that problem. So I'm not gonna say nothing for the dudes that didn't, but I see that a lot with guys that go from nothing to something, and then you start dealing with a whole bunch of women, and some of these dudes will lose their mind simping. But back to the topic of interracial dating, you know, I found it funny, you know, back in the days, I could remember watching that movie with Wesley Snipes called Jungle Fever. Jungle Fever. And you know, it was so funny watching it later on in life as opposed to watching it as a kid. I wasn't really thinking about those issues, you know, of interracial dating. But for Black men, you know, the question to you is, you know, I just want to understand what's the mindset behind choosing a white woman as your mate, you know? Is it simply because you had bad experiences with sisters and you know you just don't want to deal with sisters no more? And I get it, fellas. You know, in this day, modern women, it can be tough. Dating can be tough. You know, I do understand and I do get it. But I just wanted to know. I know because I know personally, I know people on both sides. They've had bad experiences with black women. They're just not dealing with no black women no more. And I've met brothers that just, you know, hey, I love who love me, you know. And then you just you meet some brothers that maybe the white woman came to him a time that he was in pain and he just felt obligated to her. What I disagree with from the pro-black side of the thing is by trying to talk down on black men who do date white women like that or marry white women, where they saying that you hate yourself, you hate your own skin color, that's why you date white women. I don't particularly agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, once again, I haven't been with a white woman like that, so I would know, but I'm not gonna say that I'm dating a white woman or would marry a white woman just because I hate myself. Because as you can see, the key is love itself, even if you don't. You know what I'm saying? But the two videos I wanted to share today, Adam 22, he has a show or a podcast, the No Jumper, and he definitely a lot of people would call him a culture vulture, and I guess y'all know a lot about Adam 22 right now from his exploitations and stuff like that. We won't get into it. That's for another video. But you know, he does have a lot of interesting people on his podcast that he interviews, and this particular one he had Rizza Islam. And for the pro-black people out there, I like to say this about Rizza Islam. Some of you guys that really claim that you're a pro-black like that, pro-black, I'm not buying it. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of liars out here on this internet streets, you know what I'm saying, that's just, you know, you may be for the people, but you're not really for the people. And the reason I say that is because this guy is actually on a government list for being so pro-black. And I don't think a lot of you guys is on no government list. See what I'm saying? What that means is they think that you're a threat when you're on that list. So he's definitely a pro-black. But we wanted to see what he had to say about this issue. We're going to check it out.
Term that Flacco has been using around the office that's been a little controversial. It's basically a combination of the N-word and like the end of termite. You want to say it? Clearly, I'm not going to say it.
All right, so pretty much I'll break it down, all right?
Very controversial around the office.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll break it down.
let me see how you make this into a compound word, but go ahead.
So the term is Negromite. So pretty much that's just a colloquial term that I came up with for hooligans and delinquents.
Negromite.
Yes.
Okay.
Negro.
Right, hooligans, you know, again, though.
It's kind of weird because like it seems offensive to me, but also it's like, am I supposed to be the one telling him what to say? And I don't know. It's a weird spot for me.
Listen, man.
Define it again.
It's Negromite, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a term, right, that describes the hooligans and delinquents. You feel me?
Okay.
You know, that's it, man. No, but I do have another question for you, though, man.
Yes. Before he even says anything about it. Come on, we want to hear it. Is that appropriate for this office?
You see, I tried to but go past that.
I need a ruling.
Okay, I'll just say,
you need a ruling for powerful black men.
That was interesting. Negromite. Okay. The government's translation of that is Black Identity Extremists, BIEs, the delinquents of black people. That's the U.S., that's the FBI's classification. Those of us who care about our people, you know, embrace our identity. That's the equivalent. I don't think we need another term for the hooligans and delinquents, bro. That's just me. But I mean, if that's how you want to identify them for you, all right. I mean, we just need to help our people. That's really where I'm at with it. But
somebody mailed him a rotisserie chicken in the mail with that word written on as the return address.
You're gonna get some flack for that one.
Big question. How do you feel about interracial relationships?
The Umar, huh?
Yeah. I mean, because my powerful brothers, they be on the same thing you own. So I'm just like, how are they not? It may be a religious thing. Like, how are they not?
Because
from
his
the
girl's
nation?
half white,
I'm-
so he's kind of mixed up. He's like, I don't know how to feel.
I mean, I'm gonna just say the
Most of us in
percentage is
America got
higher. She
some
black.
European
Oh,
in it. Oh, you-
Smaller percentage white. Okay.
15% German,
Yeah.
but 60% Liberian. Like, crazy. No, I don't necessarily advocate for it only because we were not able to love our woman. Okay, now a lot of people are like, man, that was the past. Okay, well, let me help you to understand this, bro. I love us so deeply that I want to see the fullness of myself in my posterity, in my child. That's all. Now, do you want to go be with somebody who's white? That's up to you. Live your life. Me, I don't. There's nothing that a white woman can offer me. I'm sorry. Like you will not be able to identify with me, my experience, where I'm at mentally. You're not there. My mama was a black woman. See, I love us so deep. No one can convince me. I done had some white women try to come at me. Trust and believe.
So you some incense?
Yeah, and some sage and everything. I was like, okay, look, I was like, okay, some sage incense and some shea butter, and you think, come on, Kathy, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I respect the hustle, but stop that. I just love us, bro. I mean, and it's really that simple for me. I don't have to go into the Caucasoid, Mongoloid. I don't have to go into that. I really love us, bro. Like I grew up with my siblings. I'm from Compton. I have 9 siblings. I'm the youngest of 10 children. I don't watch what happened to our people. I owe it to the black woman to be with her. That's me. Now, if you want to go be with somebody else, cool, and say, well, look, it's just what I feel, blah, blah, blah. No, the majority of you have trauma because of experiences you have, negative experiences with black women, certain individuals, whether it's child support, beat, abandoned, whatever it is. We have to address our mental stability first before we make a decision. You're running because you got pain and you don't want to face it. And the moment you face it, now you got to take responsibility because now you can't generalize all black women. Why? Because all black women ain't did a damn thing to you. Just like all black men ain't did everything to black women. Niggas ain't this. Hoes ain't. Wait a minute. Wait. You haven't met all black men. You haven't met all black women. So we should stop generalizing each other. That makes no sense. Every other group of people, they promote being with their own, but they just don't say it. They show it. That's all. Chinese, cool with being with a Chinese man and woman. Indians with Indians. Australians 9 times out of 10. But they don't talk about it because everyone wants to attack black, benefit from black, be a vulture to black, music, dancing, bodies, whatever it is. We want that. But they always are trying to push this thing, be multicultural. No, go to hell. Sorry, not sorry. How dare you promote to be with somebody else? How dare you? Why don't you say, Rizza, you know what? I'm happy you love a black woman. What?
Now, to his point, definitely it still is strong. 80% of black folks, they marry and date within themselves. So, it's not like it's drastically down to 40% of black men are choosing white women. But a lot of the pro-blacks definitely, they believe that it's a pain thing, internal pain caused by a black woman that will drive you into the arms of a white woman, which, like I said, I don't necessarily agree with, but in a lot of issues, in a lot of aspects, that is true. Let's continue.
Why don't you do that? Why is that wrong? But you promote Becky to me.
But how do you feel about the common thing that we see black women saying on Twitter and shit, where they basically feel like black men get successful and then date white women or Asian women and step outside their race?
It is a reality that a lot of brothers, you gotta handle yourself. I'll say this again: without a vision of people perish, and without the proper knowledge, people make wrong decisions.
Now, that is definitely an argument that a lot of black women say, and we have seen that with our own 2 eyes. A lot of our successful black men that was on the ground with the black woman, as soon as they got to the successful part, they usually, some of them, not all now, don't have me in that category. But I have seen that where men has ditched their black women for a white woman, you know what I'm saying? Once they got some money in their pocket. But like I said, I got a homeboy I've known since I was 9 years old that I don't think he ever dated a black woman. But I don't think I never really asked him, why was that? I don't think I asked him, was it any pain? And until recently. And as I suspect, it was pain in the home. You know what I'm saying? He's seen a lot of things in his home between his mother and father that I guess he didn't want to duplicate when he started getting in relationships. So from a young age, he had made up his mind that he wasn't going to deal with Black women. Not saying that that is right, but that was just his own personal choice. But we do have to deal with the reality of that. I think a lot of people try to dismiss that and look over that, but that is an issue too in our community that I guess in some people's eyes, is that a sign of success? Is that a sign of you made it when you got a white girl on your arm? Some people tend to believe that. Me, I don't. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people do. But let's continue.
You're going and making decisions based off of where you are now.
My company uses social growth engine. It's taken us to numbers we could have only dreamt of before. And if you're not tech savvy, don't worry.
Where you are now, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Well, I grew up with it. That happens too. I grew up with children. Okay, that happens. Like there are different. See, the thing is, it is a reality where a lot of brothers get successful. You get a little bit of money, and then you start getting rich, and you go up there, you get your contract, sign a party, NBA, etc. And this white girl comes up and starts finishing your sentences. She knows so much about you. All of a sudden, you really think that she wasn't sent. So let me say this, bro. Some of us are so damn naive that you think all of a sudden all these women just interested in you. I'm just saying specifically for those.
Yes.
You wasn't interesting before to them. Now you get money and some fame. Now they're interested. Please look at that. Then go to the other side and look at, wait a minute. You have family and friends that you grew up with. Who was there with you? Who was always down for you? Look at them. Okay. Let's look at this in layers. And if you do get successful, just say it's because that's the person you want to be with, and don't generalize all Black women and say it's because of y'all. No. That's where a lot of brothers start getting that heat because they get with the white girl and it's like, that's fine. But then they compare her to the Black women generally. And it's like, oh, just say because that's what's best for you. But don't generalize all the Black women, bro, because if you want to go historically and up to the present, the white woman was worse than the white man when it came to Black men. Let's make that very clear. That's why I'm just being real, Adam. We're gonna talk. All right.
Nah, right. That has been a lot. That is an issue. And that propaganda or that thing has been spilled to Black men for a long time. And in a lot of aspects, it is true. I met some, you can see it in the eyes. I always say that with racist white people. You can see it in their eyes. And some of the most racist eyes I've seen come from some white women. I ain't saying not all, but some of them. So, you know what I'm saying? As being with a white woman, I was one to believe that, I was scared that you hook up with her and then she gonna lose her trust fund and scream rape. I was scared. I used to be scared to death of that. I ain't gonna lie. But I can definitely testify that is a thing in the Black community that's been handed down to young Black men about messing with white women and what they would do to you.
We're gonna talk, damn it. I know you cool. We're gonna talk.
Listen, we have a lot of OnlyFans chicks on here, and I had a lot of chicks tell me that they got no interest in a penis unless it's got some melanin in it.
Hey.
Like, that's just where it is for them. Like, white dick is out of style. I don't know.
Wow, man, you out of style, dog.
No, I'm still cool, but like the average,
Adam's like,
Not
not me, the other white guys.
Women.
No, but it's real. It's a real thing. So, and vice versa, brothers. We just have to stop generalizing. That's all. If you get with who you get with, say it's because that's what you wanted or who you wanted. Fine. Later on, when you start to identify yourself and you start to go back and reflect, and you start to learn about yourself, go back to your traumas and address them, you will change in whatever way that is. You will grow. As you said, there's certain things you started learning that you got mad,
mind blown,
that you didn't know, or you was lied to, or you're like, how you didn't tell me? This is what happens to all of us.
One thing stuck out was Mansa Musa.
Come on.
I stopped watching. I paused it.
Come on, brother.
Like, what?
You're like, that can't be real.
That can't be real.
Mansa Musa, King of Mali, richest man to ever live. The one who they fashioned King T'Challa of Black Panther after. He was the richest human being to ever live. King T'Challa in the comic books worth $90 trillion, more than Iron Man, more than Batman, you name it, etc. Richest person on the planet Earth, King T'Challa. I can't count Jeff Bezos and the rest of them because it's with fiat money for the most part. Just to be clear, with the whole white thing, if you hate me, which I know you don't, I'm marrying a black woman because that's what I want. We don't advocate for it because, again, we were not allowed to really love that woman. They would sell her to another plantation. They would whip her. They would whip us. They would tar and feather us. They would sell our children to another plantation. Even later on into the early 1900s, if I showed love and interest to a black woman, I got beat up. A lot of different things happened. When the families worked together, the women's liberation movement came in because she needed more numbers, so she recruited the black women for it. It had nothing to do with us. We were fighting for civil rights as black men, women, children, and families to be treated as human beings. You wanted to get some rights against and away from your white man. So you came and convinced the black woman to join your movement. I ain't mad at you. The problem is too many sisters joined because it went against the primary goal, which was for us.
And that's an important point that he's making. Definitely an important point that he's making, y'all, in terms of talking about the systematic targeting of black women by these liberal groups, and especially the women's liberation movement back in the days that targeted black women and recruited black women to help them on their cause. When he was right, it was about civil rights, and the woman was still connected to the black man, like I've said before in previous videos. But when the women's liberation movement came along, a lot of that changed to where black men and black women no longer saw eye to eye.
Us to have equal rights and for us to be treated as human beings, that was the issue. So at this point, that wasn't too long ago. I love my people far too much. I love the black woman. There is nothing better than the black woman. But women should be respected no matter what color you are. And if you choose to be with a woman of whatever color, culture, persuasion, that's your choice. Just do not try to swing over here and tell me who I should be with when it comes to being with the black woman. That's
Shout out to all our celibate brothers like Poetic Flux.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Struggle Stream King, y'all. Struggle Stream King. But you know, that first video was Rizza Islam on No Jumper, and definitely wanted y'all to see that point of view. Now we have another video by Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, for those that don't know, and we want to see what his point of view is on this subject. Let's go.
By Beating Black and Blue, my brand new book, being a police officer, a black police officer in America under siege. Go ahead and get it now. Amazon, #1 on Amazon for new releases and law enforcement. But I think we can do a lot better. If you already got the book, make sure you go on and give a 5-star review if you believe that this book is 5 stars. Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get a notification anytime I go live. Y'all know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't have no politics to talk about, right? We already talked about Justice Smollett. We already talked about Cuomo, all these other people. I don't have any politics to talk about. And I feel like that it's intuitive or appropriate to talk about other social issues that are out there that I think people want to hear about. So I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. The question is always posed to me, and people who I believe are not acting in good faith. Some of them may be jealous or haters. Some of them may be brainwashed or confused or even misinformed about interracial dating. So people that know me know that my wife is white, right? And then my oldest son, his mom is white. Me and her met in college way back in 2010. So people criticize me and they criticize other black men. Although if you look at statistical data, most black people marry black people at like 80%, white people marry white people, whatever. It's just a phenomenon where there's a crossover. And people criticize me sometimes, and they especially from black people, that, oh, you a traitor to your race. Black men shouldn't date white women. You just date white women as if it's some fetish or something crazy like that. But let me break it down to you. And I made a video a while back that got millions of views where I spoke about this a long time ago. But I'm going to give another statement about it just very quickly so people can understand. In my opinion, based on my experience and the people that I know, because I know a whole bunch of brothers that marry white women, 99.99% of the time is because of culture. I think people get caught up in their emotions and get caught up in rhetoric and think it's about race. No, it's more so about availability to certain women and culture.
I think that's a very important word that he used when he said culture. That has a lot to do with why Black men choose white women. I think, from my opinion, on what I'm diagnosing from what he's saying, is that we want to be in those white spaces. Some of us Black men, which, in my opinion, I think that's part of the problem, that we as Black men sometimes want to strive to be in white folks' spaces and not create more of our own spaces. We used to do that. You do know that. We did used to do that at one time as a people. We did used to do that. And I think we got away from that. Now we want to be in their spaces. And I think that's where it comes from, what he's talking about with culture. But let's continue.
Normally, when you see men who make it in the NFL, NBA, and they go marry white women, and people perceive, oh, that person's a sellout or whatever the case may be. No, it's because that person has now been interjected into a different culture. And I said this in my last video about family, marriage. When you look at the statistical data, you see that 70+% of Black households, children are born out of wedlock. I grew up with my parents not together. And so when you are involved in a culture that may be more appreciative of the family structure, or for whatever reason, the family structure is more intact, and you get to a point where you're outside of your childhood, outside of where you grew up at, and now you perceive that I want this family, I want this type of environment, then you go for the people that are doing that. People that more than likely their parents are together, or they have a structural environment that you feel like is conducive for what you want in the future. People that are less argumentative, people that are more agreeable with you, people that may agree with you politically, people that may understand financial success, and you may want to attain that relationship with them. That has minimal to do with race. And like I said, there's a lot of successful Black people that are married to Black people. There's a lot of conservative Black people that are married to Black people. ABL's wife is Black. Ben Carson's wife is Black. I can go down the list of many Black people who are conservative that marry Black people, and it's not necessarily the race, is culture. The reason I married my wife had nothing to do with the color of her skin. I've dated Black women plenty of times. My first serious girlfriend, my first girlfriend in high school was Black. Girlfriend in college was Black. I dated a few other Black women while I was a police officer. And the reason why I dated my wife is because we agree on how to raise children.
I had to stop it on that one. Yeah, I sense pain. I sense pain. My detective meter sense a little pain coming from my man, but dealing with some of the sisters out there. And you know what I'm saying? I guess for a lot of Black men, it is a lot of trauma dealing with some sisters, but hey, don't think that white woman can't get over on you too, or give you a hard time too, my brothers. Don't forget that. And they get back maybe 10 times worse as a sister. But once again, it's like I said, I've said this earlier, don't worry about what I'm saying. It's about who you love.
Children, we agree on politics. We agree on many things. We have a similar sense of humor. My wife is ambitious. She compensates for the things that I feel like that I lack. I'm not a fashion person, but my wife is really good at fashion. She's really good at budgeting. She does a lot of great things, and as a partnership, it makes sense. All of my friends who are married to white women or women outside of their quote unquote race are married because these women were loving to them, kind to them, supportive of them. And in many of these cases, and I'm just going to be honest, many of these cases, I think that there's the reason why we do see this sometimes, and it's back to the culture, is because some of these young people who are raised without fathers, raised with mama that say, I don't need no man, And I'm not saying that every white person got a daddy and every black person don't have a daddy. But what I'm saying is that when you look at the statistical data and even your own personal experience, just keep it real. Then you see that when a person is raised in a family where I don't need no man, we doing good, we out here surviving. When that person is born into that situation, I believe the lack of fatherhood, you don't know how to treat a man. You don't understand what it is to be vulnerable with another person, especially a man, being vulnerable, cooking, cleaning, doing things that you believe is a servant or a service to your husband. And then this feminist movement and got women all whacked out. But realistically speaking, men are desiring women who are that way. When I was growing up, women like that used to get criticized. Right. Yeah, the white woman, they always y'all want the white woman because they weak. Y'all want the white woman because they'll do whatever you want to do. They don't never say, they ain't got nothing to say. And it's like, well, that's the point. You know what I'm saying? You want a woman that's agreeable. You want a woman that's going to be nice to you. You don't want a woman that's argue with you all the time. You don't want a woman that want to wear the pants and y'all battling who the man in the house. And unfortunately,
now, like I said, that seems to me like he's had some experiences. How do you have that insight of what it is being with a black woman if you hadn't gone through that? You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, I don't knock nobody for who they love, but damn, bro, it's easy to tell that you've had some pain dealing with black women. And you caught that fever. You got the fever when you went to college, I guess. you got the fever. You had to go on in. You had to holler at Becky. But I do like Officer Tatum, though. He does have some good content, great content. Y'all should definitely go subscribe to him. Definitely good content. But some of the things I don't agree with him. As for any rational human, you don't agree with everything everybody says. But let's continue.
From my personal experience, and it's obviously not the experience of every person, is that certain cultures of people, typically lower income, poor people, have this mentality that is not productive. I would argue counterproductive to marriage and to things that successful people want to obtain. And I'll finish it with this, just my thoughts. I would argue that people need to stop looking at race. Look at love. Okay. Marry who you love. Don't marry who you look like, because a lot of y'all miserable because you want to marry who you look like instead of marrying who you love. The person that's going to be the best fit for your family, the best fit as a wife, as a helpmeet, according to the Bible, a person that's going to be supportive of you. And I'm speaking to men. For the women, a man that's going to be a leader and responsible that you can depend on. It doesn't matter what color they are. It matters what they are to you. Love is love no matter what. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Just my quick thoughts on interracial dating. I mean, I could have a whole podcast. Me and my wife are going to start our own podcast. But you can have a whole podcast talking about these things, because it's something that has come up and people criticize me all the time and criticize other black people. Oh, you just marrying white women. Candace Owens' husband is white. You just marrying white people, and, you know. And so I think it's invaluable to have the conversation about why. Why do most people do this? And generally speaking, it's because of culture. It's because you are in a realm or a culture, or you identify with a certain set of skills or cultural identity practices that are conducive for your life. So anyway, love you guys. Today wasn't about politics. Sometimes I talk about different things. Being Black and Blue, my book, being a black police officer in America Under Siege. Put it in a discount code, keep it 100, get 20% off the entire store. I love you guys. Appreciate you. See you on the next one. I'm out.
Yeah, so I just thought I would bring these videos to y'all. 2 different points of views about the topic of interracial dating and marriage, and just the jungle fever thing altogether. I got jungle fever. She got jungle fever. We got jungle fever. We're in love. Shout out to Spike Lee, man. I love that movie. That was a trip back in the days, though. But once again, the message from me to y'all is I see both sides of the issue. But my personal advice to you, Black men, is love who you love. You know what I'm saying? Now, you ain't gonna be out there and get with the others, get with somebody else, and then dog the sisters and dog us out. You know what I'm saying? And saying the Black woman ain't crap, but you know, I'm all for dating who you love as a Black man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna knock you. I just wanted to explore this topic because it's a hot topic. It's still in 2024. Interracial dating is still a hot topic. So, Black men especially, I'd like to know what you think in the comments about this video and what you think about interracial dating. Women and ladies as well, feel free to comment. But as always, like and subscribe to your boy. Come on, get with it. And I will catch you back on the other side. It's your man, Chris B. I'm out.